Good morning. My name is Samika Thomas, and today I will be presenting to you the ways that we can communicate with our parents. As we know, that is a very difficult thing for us to do, and prayerfully, what I will be showing you all will be able to help you ease that transition of you communicating with your parents. All right, so the first question that I asked, who are parents? As we know, it does not only have to be the biological parents of the children. They can also range from grandparents, uncles, aunties, sister, brothers, cousin, anyone who basically has legal custody over the child in which who we are providing for. So often we have grandparents who takes that role of having custody of the children, and the way that we communicate nowadays as far as with technology is very difficult for them to understand or either be able to grasp. So we have different ways for us to communicate with them as well. All right. What is communication and why is it important? Communication is an imparting or exchanging of information or news. Communication with parents is vital to the classroom because it fosters a good relationship between the teacher and the parent. Due to the line of communication, teacher and or parent increases the chances of the child having a successful academic and behavior outcome. Personally, I feel it's very important for teachers and parents to have a positive relationship because the child is able to see that they're basically on the same team. If the child knows that the parent and teacher are both on the same team, they're going to do, or we're going to have a better chance of controlling the academic atmosphere. So just try to, even though sometimes it's very hard, but just try to make sure that we as teachers or you as a teacher do a great job of implementing the communication amongst the two. When to communicate with parents. So often through my experience, I've noticed that teachers do not communicate with parents regularly. They only do it once they have a problem with the child. Me personally, I feel like that's a problem. At the beginning of each year, I try to inform my parents of the different activities that we would be having and things that would be going on into the classroom. So, beginning of the school year is very important. Information on upcoming events, homework, and projects. Academically, grades improving or grade spelling, behavior, athletics, volunteering within the classroom, training, and educational opportunities for family. So, the older that our children become, the more that some of them will become involved in extracurricular activities. As a parent and as a coach, I feel it's very vital for us to relate this information to parents. Once we give that responsibility to a child, there's a 50-50 chance the parent might not know what's going on. Therefore, I still blame the adult because it's their responsibility to make sure that the parent knows what's going on. There are a couple of things that we can use. It's a technology called GroupMe. It's also, we have text messaging, you have email, and there's other sources that we can use to be able to get in contact with parents. Academics. I feel like sometimes we should just call parents and congratulate them on a job well done. Whether we know they're helping their child or not, but sometimes it still helps parents just to hear someone say that, we thank you for being involved in your child's life or being involved in their schoolwork, and this is a reflection of that. Behaviors. Anytime, we do come in contact with a parent due to behavior, there are certain methods that we should take in that as well. So I feel like that when a behavior has occurred, first it's very important that we talk to the parent. To try to get some information about why this behavior might be occurring, if they've had it at home, and what strategies they have used. Sometimes we can use those strategies in the classroom as well. So those are some importance of when communicating with parents. Also, another thing that I like is when we are able to communicate with parents on, I guess, not a better lifestyle, but giving them some advice on some things that they can do to better help their lifestyles. For instance, I work with a Head Start program. Most of those parents does not have their GED. So most of them will come in and ask me, what do I suggest for them in getting their GED or pursuing higher education? So I feel if we have an open relationship with them, they can come in to us, ask us some questions, and if we're able to deliver, it will open it up even more. And then that too can also help the child in the way that he or she progresses. Effective ways to communicate with parents. All right, so often, as I said, sometimes our first line of communication or the first time we communicate with the parent is when a child has misbehaved. That should not be the case, but if it is the case, here are a list of what we should and should not do. So the first one would be low tone. Come to the parent very mellow. Try not to be so angry or have anger in your voice when you're talking to them about their child. Try to just be very pleasant. The next one is be positive. Anytime we talk to a parent about their child, we want to start off with being positive. So say something like, you've done a great job. She behaves well when we do this. Her grades are improving tremendously. Then you can jump into the problem. Next, I would say reassure parents they can trust you and that you're on their side. So often through my experience, I've noticed how some parents feel that teachers aren't on their side. Basically, they're the bad guys and we think we're better than them. And in a lot of cases, that's not the problem. Actually, in my opinion, I feel teachers, we really want to help the parent and the child. It's just sometimes our delivery come off wrong. So if we can get a positive relationship with the parent, then that should help them understand more what it is that we're trying to do. And then relationship with that, it will help us be able to do better with the child in school and also at home. Be prepared. Being prepared. When we say be prepared, basically what we're speaking on is make sure you have everything that you would need in order to speak to the parent about their child. I am very big with document everything, good behavior, bad behavior, grades. Make sure that anytime you set up a meeting that you have the appropriate paperwork. So you have your grades, you have your tests, you have what took place, when it took place, and how it happened. What did you do to strategize better behavior, different methods that you come up with, people who you've spoken to. Have everything you need when it's time for you to speak to that parent about their child. Lastly, never feel pressured. Never feel pressure to answer certain questions you don't have the answer to when you're in a parent-teacher conference. Never feel pressure to feel that just because a parent states this is what needs to be done and it get done. Never feel pressure. Present to them what it is that you have and the questions that you would like for them to answer and how to do a better job of helping the child. Any questions? Okay. All right, so this right here is my favorite part of the PowerPoint. This is called challenges. So often we will have challenges with our parents because their child or children are never wrong. Now we're the adults, but they're never wrong, okay? So here it says there are going to be challenges that arises between the teacher and the parent. But because we're professionals, it is such that we act as a professional, okay? So here is a chart of some things that we can do when speaking to parents and it kind of get out of control. So one of them is keep our composure. No matter what the parent is doing, hollering, yelling, screaming, cussing, we are to keep our composure. Smile. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for sharing how you feel. And this is what can be done. So just let them get their anger off. All right, so the next one is be respectful. I always say yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. Allow them to speak. Sometimes you may just have to listen because sometimes that's what they want. So just be respectful of them as well as their child. Try different methods to reach the parent. So it's different for all parents. Some parents you may be able to, sit calmly with, allow them to express themselves, and then you're able to talk. Some parents you may have to do, they talk, you talk, or allow them to walk around, run, hit, scream, whatever it is they feel like they need to do. Allow the parent to get it out. Even if you have to write notes, I'm a firm believer in writing notes. They may be so upset to where they're unable to talk or they don't want to listen. Write down what it is that you want to say, slide it over there, and then go from there. Another one, reassure them of open door policy. So often we have these parents that say, oh, my child don't do this, my child doesn't do this, my child come home and do homework, so I know that they're doing schoolwork. Just remind them that you have an open door policy, and they're more than welcome to come in at any given time to review and watch over what it is that you and the child is doing. Document everything. As I stated before, just make sure that you cover yourself and that you have everything written down so that once it's time for you to speak with the parent, you're able to have everything in front of you and you won't be rushing, nor will you miss anything that's going on. Listen, provide advice for parents. Sometimes parents just want somebody to listen to them. So often they don't feel like we're on their side. We can't help them, and all we want to do is just talk about how bad of a parent they are. Listen. Take a few minutes, just listen, open it up. Open it up for them, and just be respectful of their feelings. All right, so something to think about. A positive parent-teacher relationship helps your child feel good about school and the success in school and their success in school. That's something to think about. If a parent and a teacher have a positive relationship, it's a good chance that the student is going to have a positive relationship in school and also how they feel about school. The other one is the parents need information about what and how their children is learning, and the teacher needs important feedback from the parent about the child's academic and social development. So if the parent and teacher have a great relationship, those two things can be brought out, which means the teacher can have a better understanding as to how to teach the child, and the parent can have an understanding as to where he or she can do better at home. Okay, so biblical resources. I checked out a book and it was called Christian Teachers in Public Schools. So often it's hard for us to combine the two, but through some research it can be done. And basically this is just speaking of a teacher who was a Christian and she ended up going into public school, and she didn't understand the rules as to how the Board of Education or higher learning was able to implement some of the strategies. So this is very good because it allows you to see different methods that you can use to teach, but also how to get closer to parents. Teacher Redemptivity by Donovan L. Graham. This is also a good one because it speaks about challenges teachers face as a Christian, but also how we can implement those into the classroom, which can also help teachers develop the relationships that they need to with parents. Walking with God in the Classroom, Christian Approaches to Teaching and Learning. This is basically the same thing as before. It just gives us different examples of what it is that we can do to handle certain situations biblically. Helpful websites. Okay, so here we have National Association for Education of Young Children. That is also known as NAEYC. So NAEYC give us some very good strategies and tips on what it is that we can do within the classroom. The AARP, Grandparent Information Center. As we stated before, sometimes we have grandparents who are raising our children. This website helps us to understand their method of thinking and also ways that we can reach them. High Scope Education Research Foundation. High Scope is for children who ages birth through 5 and a little higher, but it just gives us insight on what it is we can do in the classroom to help strategize for those parents. National Responsibility Fatherhood Clearinghouse. This is for single parents, or this is for parents who are involved and they need help. Sometimes or oftentimes we don't see a lot of fathers. This website will help us be able to reach them more and do a better job of communicating with them. Lastly, Child Action. Child Action has a variety of different things on there that can help us from single parenting, the full parents, grandparents, anything of that sort, from behaviors to schoolwork, encouragement. That would be very helpful. That's all that we have, and I pray that everyone took some great insight from this. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to email me, or I can talk to you after we leave here. Thank you so much.